Hello and welcome to KU Around the Horn. I'm your host, Mike Downing. Today's experts are Jesse Gosman, Cam Hafetz, Matt Kelly, and Kyle Krajewski. Question number one. Within the last year, both the NHL and the NFL announced expansion franchises in Las Vegas. How do you feel about sports leagues expanding into Sin City, Jess?
Well, I feel like if there was one thing missing from Vegas, it is a professional sports league. Vegas already has a bigger market for the success of these professional leagues than some of the cities that are already existing, like Pittsburgh. And that market, consists of tourists and other surrounding cities that all come over to hang in Vegas. So I could personally see the NFL being more successful in Sin City than the NHL. But props to them for starting the trend, and I think they'll all develop their own fan bases.
Okay, Cam.
Well, Michael, I think that Las Vegas has every entertaining thing possible, from gambling to Circus Soleil to happy endings. But where is the sports entertainment? It's not there. They need more sports teams. So I think it would be great for them to bring in an NHL and NFL team into their city. But at the same time, if it's at the cost of another franchise having to move, I could see how that could affect other homes and of current teams.
You're feeling bad for Oakland is what I'm sensing.
Yes, yeah, mainly Oakland, the Raiders.
Yeah.
That would not be so cool. But I think if they started their own team and gathered their own players and maybe drafted some from each individual teams and some new guys and slowly developed a team, I think it could be very positive.
League expansion, that's a whole other topic. Matt?
I think it's a very interesting idea. I think that they should have thought about the players and the franchise's sake, and not so much for the money. Vegas is obviously a very extremely popular place, and they'll have no problem getting people to go to these games. I think it's cool that the NHL is adding a brand new team, but I think they could have picked a better place to go. For the Raiders, it can go great, or it could either flop. The only way to find out is wait for it to happen.
Okay, Kyle.
I'm not a fan. I hate the move, especially for the Raiders. They're leaving behind an entire fan base to chase money, and I think that's wrong. The NHL, however, is smart to expand, but not smart to choose Vegas. The city will provide too much of a distraction for players, whether they're living there or they're the visiting teams. It's not a place you want your team to be the night before a game.
Okay, we're well into the first round of the NHL hockey playoffs. Who do you think will win the Stanley Cup this year? Cameron?
I think the Penguins, hands down. I mean, they say two things. One, history repeats itself, and they won last year. And two, hockey is the fastest sport, along with lacrosse. And the fact that they are the fastest team in the fastest sport is really saying something. Plus, on top, they have one of the best players in the league. How could you lose with Crosby and all of that speed?
Matt?
I think that the Anaheim Ducks will win the Cup. They have a great young goaltender, John Gibson, who has played on the big stage before. Even if he flops, they have a great backup goaltender as well. Their team also has a great veterans who know how to win and are good at maintaining their specific position and role, and are great leaders to the young players on the team. They may get ripped up by a younger, faster team, but if I had to put money on it, I would put it on the Ducks. The Capitals are an obvious choice, but they have a history of losing in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know how well they're playing this season so far in the playoffs. Kyle?
I see the Penguins repeating this year and winning it all. With the dangerous offense and playoff experience, I believe they could take down anyone. Even though it will be tough to get past the Capitals, they have the speed to get through them again, as they did last season. Vegas currently has them as the third favorite to win it all, behind the Capitals and the Blackhawks, which means it's not a far-out possibility to repeat.
Jess?
I'm going to have to go with Pittsburgh as well, winning a Stanley Cup this year. Crosby's playing really well. A lot of people think he's a baby and overprotected, but he's a top goal scorer of the season. And their goaltending's been really strong, so I think they'll take the Cup.
I hope so, as a Pittsburgh native. Let's see then. Question number 3, finishing up with the NFL. Will the Cleveland Browns take a new quarterback in this year's NFL draft? If so, who will they take? And if not, what is their move, Matt?
Well, the problem that lies here is the Browns cannot afford to pass up another top quarterback. They are struck between Deshaun Watson or Mitch Trubisky. Between the two quarterbacks, I think they would pick Trubisky. But also, I wouldn't be much surprised if their first pick is Myles Garrett, a defensive lineman. I believe that they will take the new quarterback over the defensive lineman because of the past troubles his franchise has dealt with the quarterback.
Kyle?
Having 2 picks in the first round, I say it's hard not to take advantage of the talent at quarterback in this year's draft class. With the first overall pick, they can't pass up on Myles Garrett, though. The man's a monster. But the Browns also hold the 12th overall pick, and with that, I think the team will draft Mitch Trubisky of UNC. With the interest Trubisky has in the team and the talent he could bring, he's their best bet.
Very good. Jess?
Yeah, well, with the first overall pick, I think it's highly likely that the Browns will draft a quarterback. With the position that they're in, they need a quarterback. So I think I could see them getting Mitch Trubisky as well. On the other hand, I know there's been a lot of talk about them drafting, the defensive lineman Myles Garrett. I know he's high on their radar from Texas A&M after an impressive performance at the Combine. So we'll see.
Okay. Cam?
I could see how they would be very tempted to get Myles Garrett, but we have to remember that the most important position in football is quarterback. And right now, Brock Osweiler is not cutting it for them. I think that their first pick should definitely go to Deshaun Watson. I think if they choose this right quarterback, they'll have great potential, and we could finally say, in my lifetime at least, the Browns went to the Super Bowl.
Okay, thanks to our experts this week. Tune in next week when we discuss the NBA playoffs. Will LeBron James lead the Cleveland Cavaliers to another NBA championship?